Reddit. Confessions.
Pushed my mom into the couch because she disconnected my PS4.
My mom disconnected my PS4 at the very end of a match with only 5 seconds left as I was telling her it was about to end. I exploded and started screaming at her and pushed her into the couch. She was shocked and scared. I put my hand on her face and pushed her head back into the couch a few times. I feel like a total piece of shit right now and I don't know if I'll ever forgive myself. This happened a few minutes ago. My best friend and I used to push a mentally impaired kid down at the playground. Back when my best friend and I were probably like 7 or 8. We used to play at our neighborhood playground. This other kid, who is mentally impaired and was roughly 5 years old, would always show up in the evenings by himself and just in his underwear. We used to push him into mud puddles every time we saw him because we didn't understand why he would show up half naked and try to play with us when we didn't know him. Every time I think back on childhood memories I get this huge knot in my stomach because my brain gets flooded with images of us bullying him regardless of what memories I'm reminiscing about. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself for that part of my childhood. The time I scammed this man I hardly knew to give me $3,000. Okay, so don't judge me. But I used to work at IHOP back in 2017. I was 17 at the time and this man walked into IHOP and I served him and everything went fine. Once he left me a $50 tip and a number on it. Well, I messaged this guy and asked why he gave me his number and he said he was willing to give me money in return for naughty pictures. Well, obviously I said yes and it started with him giving me $100 for every 3 pictures I would send. Christmas came by and this man gave me $1,000. After I realized how much money this man actually had I knew it was time to come up with a plan. So time passed and we grew just a bit closer, and one day I told him I was feeling really sad and was really tired of living. He asked what he could do to help and I let him know that if I had money I definitely would not kill myself. And sure enough, this man spit up $3,000 and I bought myself a trip to California and blocked this man from texting me. Smile. I sure do miss him though. I lie to my boss and coworker every morning. I work in an office with 2 other women and I'm usually the first one to arrive in the mornings. The first thing I do is make a cup of coffee and get set up for the day. Every morning, they ask if I change the water in the Keurig machine. I always say yes, but really I don't. Usually, I'll just top it off, or I'll pour out half and refill it. It's a damn waste of water and the number of K-cups that get thrown away is bad enough already. Despite the fact that our building is very secure, they are afraid that someone will come in overnight and put something in the water. Poison? Spit. In the unlikely event that were to happen, I would die first because I'm the first one to get coffee in the mornings. I hit and ran. A month ago a car in front of mine brake checked me and I crashed into the back of their SUV. Not having car insurance or registration I ran. I have a court date for a misdemeanor. Not sure how this is going to go. I highly doubt I'll get jail time. There were no injuries but damage to the other driver's vehicle. Live in California. BTW. Killed a child while drunk. Was never caught. It has haunted me ever since. I do not want to say when it happened or where it happened because I could be prosecuted. I was on a trip for work and decided to go get hammered the afternoon before I was supposed to fly home. Planes scare me to death. I finished off a bottle of Makers that I had and had a few shots and beers at the hotel bar before heading to the airport. On the way to the airport I ended up with a cop behind me just by a random chance, so I pulled off into one of the neighborhoods to avoid him and he drove right by. I drove around the neighborhood for a minute to let my nerves calm down and got lost, so I turned on my GPS and as I was typing the airport address in, a child appeared in the road and I crushed him. His head went under my tire and exploded. I sped off and hit a dead end, so I had to turn around and drive right back past the accident scene where I saw a woman screaming hysterically over the dead body. I puked and sped off. I ended up getting my flight and going home. Certain I'd be arrested before long, but it never happened. I make a mess in public restrooms. I'm an early 30s man living in the southeast US. Since I was about 16 years old, I've made a habit of messing up public restrooms. Without getting terribly graphic, I piss all over urinals, being sure to hit the flush handle. I'm also sure to leave a puddle for the next guy to stand in. If there is a toilet, I will cover the seat with toilet paper and then piss all over the seat, leaving the wet paper. I'm also certain to piss on the flush handle. Sometimes I go on the sink countertop, sometimes on the mirror, and yes, on the faucet handles. Once I took a dump in a urinal. I only did that once when I was 16. I've been doing this for the thrill it gives me. I get an adrenaline spike thinking I might get caught. Despite all this, I have decided to stop. I felt tremendous guilt the last time I messed up one of those unisex family bathrooms. I made a mess, and when I left I saw a mother waiting to go in with her small kids. I'm stopping now. I'm done. This is my confession. I prank called a fat girl in middle school posing as Weight Watchers returning your call. This was 13 years ago and I still think about it sometimes. My friends and I were in middle school with Razr phones, mid-2000s, and put it on speaker after 67 her number. "Hi yes, this is Weight Watchers returning your call." She immediately started sounding like she was crying. "What? Who is this?" I said the phrase again and then hung up because my friends and I were dying laughing. She actually became skinny years later in high school. I still feel bad. Kids can be so mean. I used to steal sugar cookies from my middle school. Essentially every day at lunch there would be 3 types of cookies at lunch: sugar, chocolate chips and raisins. Everyone knew the other 2 were absolutely disgusting, but they were like $1 a cookie, so I would buy 2 but put 1 under a slice of pizza and would always get away with a free cookie. I stole hundreds of dollars worth of snacks from a vending machine in college. I saw someone else posted their story of stealing sodas from a vending machine and it reminded me of my own story of vending machine theft. In college, me and a few friends heard a rumor that the vending machine in the student lounge was giving out free snacks, so we went to check it out one night. At first nothing happened. The machine was not giving out free snacks. As we were about to leave, someone who none of us recognized despite it being a fairly small school approached us and offered to teach us how to hack the machine. I don't remember exactly how it worked, but it involved pressing buttons in a certain order until the screen said free vend and you could take as many snacks as you wanted for free. At the time I was smoking a lot of weed, so having unlimited access to all kinds of snacks all the time was pretty amazing. We would fill whole trash bags with candy and chips and divide them amongst ourselves. Eventually someone noticed and they stopped stocking that vending machine. But for a while we lived like kings. I can't stop stealing from Tesco. I'm a 15-year-old male from the UK and like the title says, on my way to school every day I would walk into Tesco, grab some sweets or whatever I felt like and walk out. I still do it and I feel shit about it. For those of you that don't know, Tesco is a supermarket. I used to hack for hire. I used to be a hacker for hire. No corporate stuff. Always individuals who were looking to catch a cheating spouse, get photos of a family members, keep tabs on their children. One guy wanted a copy of his father's will. I guess he wanted to know if he was in it. Always received payment via cryptocurrency and always returned payment if by some chance I couldn't gain access to a device. I don't really do it anymore. My focus has been on finding something else. I accidentally killed all the fish in this nice aquarium we had, which was filled with beautiful goldfish. When I was around 7 years old, my friends and I would go to the sewer creek that was around 2 blocks away, usually to skip rocks. That day we saw many guppies in the water, so I decided to run home and grab one of those little green fish nets to transfer goldfish when cleaning a tank. I got a small bucket and was able to catch roughly 3 guppies filled with nasty creek water. I took them home and poured them on the tanks as I smiled, thinking I had just given all our goldfish some new friends. The next morning I woke up to find all the fishes floating in the top dead. I panicked and removed the guppies and threw them on the toilet and flushed them. I go back to bed in a panic. I then hear my sister crying and my mom messing with the tank. I wake up and see that she's cleaning the tank, saying the filter may have not been working since the tank water wasn't clear. From all the shit I threw in there, it was I who killed all the fishies. I'm truly sorry. I pirated books from my local craft store. Recently got into crafts, specifically knitting and sewing, and was looking at some yarn in the craft store in town. While I'm looking around I find a knitting book teaching you how to make cute little animals and all that. Now I've already spent most of my budget on the yarn and shit, and while the book wasn't expensive, if I bought it I'd have no money left to get home. I remembered a free book website posted on some subreddit coffbok.cc a couple weeks ago and wondered if the books would be on it. So I took a picture of it, and then a few more of different books. Then I searched them up and some of them were there. I now have about 4 books on crafts that would have cost me about $20 for the great price of 0. I kinda feel bad, but I didn't leave with nothing, so I think of it as a buy one get 4 free type of deal. Traveling for work. Well, to start it off, I am 28 years old and well, the last 5 months have been a career nightmare honestly. I went to one job that was paying me double at my old company to a new job which promised a more involved role where I only last 5 days due to the bait and switch. Luckily I didn't burn my bridge with my old company, so I am back with my old company. Well, I told them I was willing to travel for the next 3 years as I finish my degree. I feel so guilt that I am traveling and be away from home for such a long time because of my mother. She loves when I am home and enjoys when I am home. It makes me sad that she's sad and I can't admit it to her because, well, that's a weakness I have. I can't wait to go back to traveling and seeing the States again. Anyway, hope my post wasn't too boring. I stole my sister's DVDs. I was 21 and getting ready to move to Oregon and was at my dad's house getting things to move to Oregon. My sister had left DVDs and was not coming back for them, so I took them with me. She had TV shows from the early 2000s. I ended up taking them to Oregon and such. I don't know what happened to them. I am now 32 and have changed a lot. I'm a graduate student who studies nutrition, and I regularly steal food. I ran out of savings and maxed on subsidized loans. My credit cards, which were always paid in full, are now in collections. I am too embarrassed to receive food from the food banks. I serve as a public health nutrition graduate student. Today I took a bag of potatoes. This past weekend, I rang up bulk bin items improperly to save a lot of money. My psychiatrist wrote me a letter listing mental conditions to help me receive SNAP. I am miserable, desperate, and I just don't want to go to bed hungry anymore. I should feel worse, but I don't. Once as a kid, I went around my neighborhood selling my short stories for charity, but kept all the money for myself. I'm stoned all day every day at work. I feel sorta bad that I'm always stoned, but I don't think I could do my job without it. I work a very high stakes job with big consequences, and I am absolutely not allowed to be high at work or in my free time. Also, it's not legal in my state. I like to think I hide it well. My eyes usually don't get very red, and besides that, I'm Asian and wear glasses. I don't smoke flower until after work and usually stick to dabs and edibles so I don't smell like weed. I use public transportation or Uber to get everywhere, so I am not driving. No one's life is in danger. The big confession is that I am literally stoned from the moment I walk into the moment I leave. I have a cartridge that I smoke in the bathroom every couple hours. Sorry, boss. Ran a charity scam when I was a kid. So basically it started when we had a school charity event where we would go house to house gathering money for a good cause. We'd take down their name and how much they gave. I asked my buddy to come do it with me, and we ended up getting about 40 pounds from folk around the estate. But we had the stupid idea of keeping the money and saying that we lost the paper for the charity exercise. Now you'd think we would stop there, but we decided to make another one of these charity collection papers on the computer and then go around a different estate doing the same thing. We made about the same amount as last time and went to buy a ton of sweets from the shop with the money. Our parents found the sweet stash, then they interrogated us about where we got the cash. We got grounded. Stupidest thing I had ever done in my life. That money could have helped people. I've lied about my identity, age, and home state many times to avoid interactions with people from my past. Mostly done with people I have gone to school with who see me after 7 or so years. Usually they give me a puzzled look and ask a name. After that I say something like, "Sorry, who is that?" And they'll say something like, "Oh, sorry, you look like someone I knew." Then I hit him with the "must be my clone lol. Have a nice day," and we both go our separate ways. Sometimes I wonder if they catch on. But I've been doing it so long that I've got a whole story and approach to such situations down to a T. I smelled the socks of girls secretly when I was on house parties for years. I used someone's email that was given to me 4 years ago for signing up for websites. He probably gets thousands of spam emails every day. Let's call him John. 4 years ago, John gave me his email so we could stay in contact when we weren't at school. We really haven't talked that much in 2 years, but it's not like we dislike each other or anything. If a website requires a valid email that doesn't require you to go in and click a link to validate it, I just use his email because it's quick to type. Earlier today I asked him if he still uses the same email and he said yeah, so he's probably super jacked up. I pay people off the internet to do my assignments. I'm a university student in my last year of an engineering degree. I also work full-time and have a long-distance boyfriend, so every now and then I get super overwhelmed with tests, projects, homework, work and travel, so I'll go online and pay someone, usually from a third world country, to do my long and tedious assignments. I've maintained a 4.0 so far and I'm hoping to graduate with a 4.0 in May. Edit. To be clear, I've done this 3 times for assignments and gen ed classes. I used moldy butter to make my family pancakes. So today my dad and brother really wanted pancakes, and me being as extra as I can possibly be, cut up fruits and made potatoes and eggs and bacon on the side to go along with the pancakes. Anyways, so I had cut up the fruit, finished the potatoes and eggs, and all that was left to do were the pancakes. Usually I put butter in the pan then add the pancake mix so the pancakes come out golden and fluffy. So as I was looking for the butter I noticed we had run out, and I'm 23 weeks pregnant and I was not about to head to the store just to get butter. I had gone to the store before starting breakfast. I thought I had butter at home. I noticed a huge container of I can't believe it's not butter in the back of the fridge. The only thing was when I opened it I noticed it had some mold. Not a lot, but there was mold there. I scrapped all the top layer off and used the bottom of the butter where there was no longer any mold. but I couldn't help but feel so guilty watching them stuff their face with pancakes. They said it was the best breakfast. I used to steal makeup. Back when I was a rebellious young kid, I used to steal makeup for fun. I'd swipe it while my mom wasn't looking, or off getting other groceries. I know now that it was wrong, and I hate that I used to do it. I didn't have any reason for it except I was a dumb kid who wanted attention. Now that I'm older and living on my own, I realize the trouble I could have gotten in. I could have gotten caught. I could have been in serious trouble. Don't steal. Period. It's not funny, and can ruin your future. I was just lucky. Simple as that. If I could go back and beat my younger self, I would.